Welcome back to the shipyard. Today, the IKS T'Ong. This is a Katinga, and Katingas are, well, weird. They're not Brels. They have the same firepower as Brels, so they're a little more durable than a Brel. They're not Cavorts. They don't live as long. They're definitely not Vorchas, but they maneuver the same. So it all comes down to abilities, really. Um, the Tong actually has an ability that I like. When attacking a ship with your primary weapon that has a larger hull value and or primary weapon value than your ship, gain an attack die. Um, I'd love to see this as some kind of an ability, even an elite talent, uh, because I think that the underdog role, the outgunned role, is something that we could focus on and give ships a little more focus on primary weapons rather than always their secondary weapons. But um, you know, there's something here. It's not a great something, but it's a something. Um, Crew double weapon tech. Double weapon doesn't really make sense on a ship that wants to uh, boost or use this ability to boost its primary weapon. I would have rather seen like double crew weapon tech, but that's me. Tong is a 90-90, pretty standard Klingon maneuver dial, so nothing special here. Generic is generic, hasn't been recosted yet, will be at some point. Excuse me. Our captain is Katemek. All of your Klingon upgrades cost -1 point. The faction penalty is doubled for any non Klingon upgrades assigned to your ship. Katemek may only field Klingon elite talent upgrades, which is fine. Okay, so this is a nice discount. Katemek is very Klingon pure. Noble blood. Sure. Sure, fine. We can go with that. Um, I'm all for Katemek working how he works. Um, Now with the new starter, it is easier to play Klingon pure. Once Blood Oath faction pack comes out, it will be even easier. Um, the downside is Katemek at skill 5 is just not a captain that I'm ever going to run. I don't really care about the point savings because skill 5 hurts me too much. I need captains like Martok, an admiral like Gowron, to really come in. Duros, Lursa, Baitor, those are the kind of captains I need to actually make a Klingon fleet work. And skill 5 just really doesn't have a place. All right, Morag. This is, well, a bad captain. Maybe it's Morog. I like Morog better. That sounds more Klingon. Action: if your ship is not cloaked, disable all of your remaining shields. Target a ship at range of 1 to 2 that is not cloaked, has no active shields. Disable an upgrade of your choice, and place an Ox power token on your ship. See, if it was disable and place an Ox on your opponent's ship, we might talk about it, but then it would definitely be a win more card. This is way too conditional, and it hurts you. And the Klingons really don't interact with Ox power tokens much, aside from getting them on their red maneuvers. But if you run Morog, you are setting yourself up and you're saying, hey, by the way, next round I'm not coming about or doing a red turn. And it's way too much telegraphing. Um, Plus, Klingons actually do have better ways of disabling stuff. I know Klingons as a faction have more ways of disabling shields than most. They have projected stasis field, Klingon boarding party, the Negvar, um, but Morag still is not your captain of choice. Our talent, devotion to duty. Action: when attacking with your primary weapon, during the roll attack dice step, you may discard this card to gain +1 attack die for every damage card assigned to your ship. That would be lovely, except they said max 2. This is painful even before rule of 3 kicks in. Yeah, furthermore, plus it costs 4 points. I can't. I can't. There's nothing usable here. Old photon torpedoes, at least they're time token torpedoes. More so, they convert a battle station into a crit. That much is nice. And you can fire from forward or rear arc. And they're time, like I said, they're time token. They're 5 dice. The only bad side is you're spending a target lock to use them. That's the only downside here. Aside from that, they're good, but they are expensive. They're 5 points for that. On something like a Samra, a Raptor class ship, worth the investment. On something that's already firing 4 dice, it's not worth the investment to get 1 extra die. Concussive charges. This is another weapon that just makes me scratch my head. Put 3 time tokens on it after spending a target lock. And then for every uncancelled hit or crit, the target ship loses a token of your choice that has been placed beside it into the play area. Okay, that's great. You'll never get rid of an evade. You probably won't ever get rid of battle stations. You have to shoot so early in order to truly make a difference if you're talking about getting rid of action tokens. Now, if you're talking about getting rid of permanent effect tokens, this is really good, but 4 dice just isn't going to crack most things. This needed to be more. All right, cryogenic stasis. I have talked at least somewhat about this, and yeah, there's good stuff here. At the start of the game, place 2 non-Borg crew upgrades with a cost of 5 or less down, face down beneath this card. As an action, flip one of the upgrades that is beneath this card face up and deploy it to your ship, even if it exceeds your ship's restrictions. Then place 2 time tokens on that upgrade. Discard this card when there's no more upgrades beneath it. So you do get both of your crew. And it just takes you 2 rounds, and then it takes you the round you bring them in plus 1 more round of not having them. And then you have them ready to use. So there's something there. It's a little slow, but you do it right from the get-go. Action 1, bring in a crew. Action 2, bring in another crew. Round 3, well, round 1, you obviously don't have it. Round 2, you don't have it. Round 3, you've got your first crew ready to go. Round 4, you've got your second crew ready to go. And then you're at full fighting force, and you've added crew slots. So it's a sneaky way to get more crew. It's not always the best way to get more crew, but it can work. All right. Speaking of crew, Kaler. Action: discard this card. Target a ship at range 1. Your ship cannot attack the target ship, and the target ship cannot attack your ship this round. That's a nice effect, except it's an action and it's a discard, and it's only at range 1. I get that it's diplomatic talks, and Kaler was a diplomat, but it's way too restrictive, especially for 5 points. Just something needed to give. It's not terrible. It's just not good. You can make it work. If you know you have, say, a mini strike force, 2 or 3 ships going in to take on one ship, you can lead the way with Kaler's ship. Knock them out, now your ship's in position to do something, you're not going to get shot at. One of your other ships will get shot at. That's fine. But you can at least slow them down, and now your ship's in position to do stuff in the future. All right, and a Klingon tactical officer, just named tactical officer, but hey, that's okay. It is a 1 per ship. If your ship is not cloaked during the modify attack dice step, you may disable this card to reroll all of your blank results once. Okay, that's very thematic. But passive ability would have been great. Time tokens also would have been fine on this. But the disable, now I'm spending an action so I can do it again, but I can only reroll blanks. And yes, this does work against cloaks, so it's slightly more useful than a target lock straight up. But it's also worse than a target lock because I can't reroll battle stations if I don't have a different means of converting my battle stations. So that's just something to be aware of. You have to understand the mission you're going to play, what you're likely to face, if a tactical officer is worth the investment. Most of the time I say it isn't. So to recap, what's actually useful? Cryogenic-stasis. That's probably the most useful card in this pack. I will say the T'Ong is an interesting ship in this pack. Now, thematically, this is a pretty thematic pack. Cryogenic stasis, again, feels thematic. The captain, the crew, they feel thematic. The Klingons have rarely lacked for thematicism. But this pack felt like they were just... they had one hand tied behind their back. And anytime the consumer feels like the designers, the producers, designed with a hand tied behind their backs, it reflects poorly on the product. And I think that's what's happened here. The T'Ong is by no means a terrible ship, but it also is nowhere near a great ship. So, just take that for what it's worth. All right. Thank you all for watching. And until next time, we'll see you around the shipyard. Take care, guys.